How do I get the people? Where do I get the money from? How do I make this whole thing work? Okay? So what's up, everybody? It's your boy John, and we're so happy to have you here today at our YouTube channel. Hey, listen, we wanted to go over something with you that is going to be something interesting. It's going to be a training, and we're going to be starting the series of training called Overcomer Trainings with John Erikson. Now, what we want to talk about today is actually something that one of my coaching clients, shout out to Spencer, he asked me earlier today that I was actually on the call with him. And the question that he asked me was, when he gets started in the construction industry, or as he gets started in the construction industry, how exactly does that work? And more importantly, if you don't have people or you don't have the finances to actually get people, do you need a lot of people? Do you need a lot of money? How does that look? If you're going to go bag a big high profit, large building contract that's in the construction cleanup space, how does that look? Do you need people? Do you need finances? Do you need money? Now, the answer is yes and no, okay? And that's what we're going to get into today. So we're super excited to have you guys here, and this is your first time to this channel. Go ahead and smash the subscribe button, because if you're interested in this sort of stuff, you want to know how to grow your contract cleaning business, or you've ever thought about growing a business in the construction or in the service industry, I'm your guy. Now, I proclaim to be one of the best in the world at getting high profit, large building contracts in the construction space in my cleaning business. I also am the founder of a company called Overcomer Academy, which is a full-on startup where we actually help people get into this sort of industry. And so I want to help you today. The only reason why we're starting this video today is to give you amazing value, something that we can give to you so you can put it to work in the field or with your guys or whatever it is you're trying to do. I remember it like this. I'm a one-man operation. I ain't got no employees, and I don't have much going on, okay? As a matter of fact, I'm getting $200 deals here. I'm getting $400 deals there. I'm cleaning windows. I'm cleaning freaking solar panels. I'm cleaning roofs. I'm all over the place. And I'm knocking on doors to get the jobs. And I don't know how to grow my business. I don't know how to get more people. I don't know how to get more money for it. There's only one thing that I knew how to do, and that was to go out there and take action, knock doors, and to get enough money to be able to sustain my lifestyle. And so for you, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of you guys out there that are in the window cleaning space or janitorial space or cleaning space or construction space. Whatever that is for you, it doesn't really matter. You could use these principles for your business, okay? And like Spencer asked me, what if I want to get involved with that, John? What if I want to get involved with those high profit building contracts? Like, how do I get the people? Where do I get the money from? How do I make this whole thing work, okay? So let's get into some tactical information real quick. So simple enough said is, if you want to get into high building contracts, the first things first, it depends on how big the project is, okay? Now, I'm all about committing first and figuring it out later. I want you to go after the biggest project that you think you can handle. Now, right now, you might think you might not be able to handle much, and that's why it's not good for you to just go after what you think you can handle. You need to actually go after something that's bigger, something that scares you a little bit, right? When you walk up to it, you get a little bit like, oh man, like that's affecting me. Like, you feel a little bit nervous. I remember a time when I walked into a large commercial contract and I had one of my old employees with me. He rode the elevator with me, and as we're going up to the second floor, I remember him telling me, John, how are we going to do this? You know, and I remember it so vividly because he was nervous. He was scared. He knew we didn't have the equipment, that we didn't have the skills in order to handle that sort of project, right? And so in his mind, he's thinking to himself, like, John, how are we going to do this, man? Like, you know, he wasn't asking from a standpoint of like, how are we going to get this done? Like, you know, what's the game plan? He was coming from a place of fear. He was coming from a place of anxiety. He was coming from a place that, I don't know if this is going to work. Like, I don't know if you're going to be able to handle this, like us as a team, right? And all I could remember is just wanting to commit to the project first and figuring out all the other stuff as it went on. I had confidence. I walked in there because I knew I had done another big project prior and I had a little bit of confidence. But you might be facing your first large commercial contract. You might be facing your first one. This was actually my second one. Here's the thing. Don't believe the hype. You do not need to have badass equipment. You don't need to have a bunch of money in the bank. You don't need to have a big team of guys, okay? This does not need to happen, all right? If you want to get started, it's actually better if you get started now while you don't have any of those things, because that's what's going to accelerate your growth. It's going to accelerate your business. I mean, long story short, you guys know me as the large commercial contract preacher. I mean, all I talk about is get large commercial contracts. I'm yelling it from rooftops. You probably see me on some ads talking about large commercial contracts and how it can help change your business. Well, I'm only telling you that because that's what it's did for me. That's what it's done for me. Let's bring it back. Let's get into some tactical information. So when you go to get your first large building contract, the first things first is what I was trying to teach you is don't have fear, okay? That is number one. Don't have fear. Look at it face on and go for it. Like, don't freak yourself out. As a matter of fact, if your heart has dropped when you walked up to the site, that's a good sign. That means you're pushing yourself in the right direction, okay? I've trained myself that whenever I have this feeling, that feeling of scarcity, fear, anxiety, I push myself to actually go and do that kind of stuff. As a matter of fact, I've trained myself so disciplined that if there's something that I don't want to do, 90% of the time, if I don't want to do it, it's usually a sure sign that I should do it. Like maybe it's you need to call the prospect, or you need to call the large commercial contract back, or you need to cold call that person that you've never even talked before, or you need to show up at their doorstep, but you're too concerned about thinking about how big of an idiot you might look like if you walk on the front doorstep. 90% of the time, you need to do the things that you don't want to do. This is going to create opportunity. It's going to create abundance. It's going to create all sorts of opportunities in your life and in your business. Number two, okay? Number two is, here's the deal. You're thinking, we got to get back to the main question is, do I need people? Do I need a lot of people to do a large, high building commercial contract? And you might be thinking like, John, why the hell are you talking to me about this other stuff about don't have fear and yada, yada? That's probably what you're thinking right now. Because honestly, you're never even going to get past the finish line. You're not even the starting line if you can't get that out of your head. So the whole objection and the whole problem of I don't have enough people, that won't even become a question if you can't get past the fear of actually going and doing it, and actually going to bid it, and actually putting the price in and knocking on the door and actually doing that, okay? So that's step number one. Step number two, you don't have people and you're like, I want to take on this large building contract, but you're like, John, I don't have people. I don't even really have that much resources. What do I do? Okay, well, this is how I did it. If you've read my book right here, it's basically talking about how I overcame my first large commercial contract. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drop a link in the description of this YouTube video. So if you want a copy, it's completely free. Just go ahead and click the link below. We'll get you hooked up. But as I talk about in this book, when I got my first large commercial contract, I didn't have people either. And I remember that I had the opportunity to bid it, so I did that first. Step number two was they gave it to me. So now I have to fulfill it, right? So you might be a great salesperson. You might be a great action taker. You might be very, very witty, and you're willing to put yourself out there and try to get jobs. But the bottom line is this is a big project and it's scaring you a little bit, and you don't have people, and how are you going to execute it? Because you're not going to get paid unless you can do the job. So I understand your fear. Your fear is, if I get the project and I don't have people, how do I handle this project? Well, here's what I did. I got the opportunity to do the project on Thursday, my first project. They gave it to me and they needed me to start by Monday. Now I'm here to tell you that that is not a normal situation. Typically, you'll have anywhere from 30 to 90 days of a heads up before you're going to start a project like that. That is more than enough time for you to be able to figure out a team and to figure out how you're going to take advantage of this opportunity. Now, I only had 3 days to figure this out. So in that 3 days, what I did is I put a post on Indeed. I interviewed 12 people, and all 12 of them, I offered every single one of them the job, okay? I told them this though. I said, look, if I'm going to give you the job, I can't pay you for 45 days though. If you're willing to wait 45 days for your first payment, you have the job. It's all yours, okay? 8 of them said no. 3 of them said yes, okay? That's how I got my first 3 employees in the business so I can actually attack this large commercial contract. So it goes back to how big is the project though. Now, the project that I'm talking about is a 200 unit luxury apartment community. Typically, this is an average size. It's anywhere from like 100 to 200, and then it jumps up to 400. But if it's 400, it's broken up into 2 different projects anyway. And typically, a 200 unit multifamily construction project is probably going to need about 4 guys, okay? Or girls, it's up to you. 4 people is going to get the job done. I've done it with 3 people, but you can do it with 4. And going back to this is your first time, well, you're not going to just hire 4 people all at once and jump in there and make it happen, okay? What you're probably going to do in order to get things going is you're going to hire maybe 1 or 2 people to get the ball rolling. And the reason why I say this is because you might not have their payroll budget, $6,000, $10,000 laying in your bank that you can float it to pay those people. And that's why these 2 things are going to help you. Number 1 is you need to tell them that they're not going to get paid for anywhere from 30 to 45 days as an independent contractor, okay? I'm not a tax accountant. I'm not an attorney. I'm not anything like that. So I'm not going to tell you how you can handle it. But as an independent contractor, you could pay these people once a month, okay? That is okay. You don't need to pay twice per month, all right? That is number 1, because if you put them on an every 2-week pay cycle or an every week pay cycle, it's going to put you in a crunch, okay? It might put you in a crunch because you don't have the cash flows to be able to give them an opportunity. See, the way I'm seeing it is that these people wouldn't even have a job or an opportunity if I wasn't able to create this opportunity to them in the first place, right? And if I could be upfront with them and give them that chance to come work with me and to learn and educate themselves, then why not? If they're willing to jump in, let's go, right? So that's number 1. That's going to help with your cash flow because you don't have cash flow right now. You don't have any money. Step number 2 is you don't bring in all of them at once. You're bringing in 1, maybe 2 people for the first month, for the first 2 months of that project. A project like a 200 unit luxury apartment is probably going to be anywhere from 4 to 6 months long. So you're going to be getting money on a monthly basis. It's going to be a cash flow thing, right? You're going to bill them every month, and then you're going to go ahead and get a check, and you're going to use that check to pay your people, to pay your expenses, to pay for the materials. You might not be able to take a dime, okay? And that's the other thing about large commercial contracts, okay? A lot of people aren't willing to be patient and to sacrifice. If you're going to get your first project, you need to realize that you are financing your guys, you're bringing in team members, you're bringing in materials, you're bringing in all this stuff, and you don't even have any money to make it happen. I mean, honestly, me personally, my first project, I did it with no money. I had $0. I was actually in debt. Like, I had no money. My rent was due, I remember, for $2,800, and I couldn't pay it. I could not pay it. I had to borrow the $2,800 to get it paid, and 30 to 45 days later, when I got my first construction check from that project, I was able to pay back the person that loaned me for the rent. I was able to pay off all my employees, and I was left with really nothing. I had no money. And so I'm here to show you like the unsexy of all this, okay? Because in order for you to make this work, you have to be disciplined. You have to be disciplined with your money, and you have to be smart with your resources. What I'm asking you to do is to be resourceful, okay? You might be like, John, I don't have no resources. Like, I don't have no money. I don't have none of this. I can't do what you're doing. Well, you absolutely can if you're willing to be resourceful enough and you're willing to actually put in the work and be disciplined enough to make this happen. So you brought in some guys. You get them in there, only 1 or 2 people to get the ball rolling. You send in a billing at the end of the month. You get paid 30 days from there. You take that money. You pay your guys with it, okay, because they were willing to wait the 30 to 45 days for their first payment. And you take the money from there, you give it to your guys. You might be broke for another month, but at least the business is going now. If you want to bring another person in on that second month, you can. Bring that third person in now. Now you're doing more work, you're getting more stuff done. Now the billing that you send in is going to be more money. And so 30 days from then, you're now going to have a fat check. It could be $20,000, $30,000. Who knows what it is, right? It just depends on your project and how much work you did. Now you have a little nest egg. Within 3 to 6 months, you should have a little bit of a nest egg, a little bit of a cushion to where you still don't want to spend that money. Now, I'm talking to the people that are trying to do this with nothing. You don't have much. You don't have money sitting around, okay? You're trying to do this off the hip, nothing at all, and you want to get this thing started. Well, within that first 3 to 6 months, at month 5 is when you're going to have a nice cushion. You might have 30 grand sitting in the bank. You might have 40 grand sitting in the bank, but that's not your money. You cannot take that money. You can't touch that money. You can't do anything with that money just yet, okay? Because if in order for you to grow, in order for you to expand this thing, you're going to need that money for the people. And you want that security of, I have the money in my account. I got guys on the team. If I need to float them, if I need to pay for their payroll, I can do whatever I want. When you go to do it up the second time, now you can start taking away a little bit of money from the business. Basically, scaling yourself up with little or nothing, little or no money. Anyone can do this. You can do this. So the question I got from Spencer earlier was, can I do it with no people? And can I do it with no money? You absolutely can, but it's up to you. It's up to you how disciplined you want to be. It's up to you how resourceful you want to be. And you can and you will if you just listen to what I just said right there. So step number 1, have no fear. Have no fear. Go in there. Make it to where your heart drops a little bit. If that's the type of project that you're walking up to, you're on the right path. Don't look at that as a negative thing. That's a positive thing. Step number 2, get some guys. Let them know about the 30, 45-day payments, okay? Get them in there. Be honest with them up front from the very beginning. Get them in there. Get a billing in. Don't hire a bunch of guys. Only 1 to 2 people. Get some money going. Pay them on your first check. And then slowly start bringing in maybe 1 or 2 more people. On a 200-unit project, you can get away with 3 to 4 people, and you can get the project done, okay? Right now, we're on a 480-unit site, and we actually have I think it's 8 people on site right now. And is it necessary? Yeah and no at the same time, because what I want you guys to understand is that you having more people, it might hurt. It might suck. You might be like, damn, this is a lot of payroll. How am I going to keep up with all this? The thing is the job, there might be a bunch of change orders that come up just randomly. And for you having that extra manpower there and stuff, you're going to make more money on the back end with more people as well. But you don't need to have all those people in the beginning. Keep it very minimal. You go out there yourself and make things happen if you have to. Be one of those people. So now all you need is to hire 2 or 3 people. And you'll be rocking and rolling. So I hope this message helped. I hope this kind of brought some clarity. We'll have another video on how change orders work. We're going to be doing a bunch of these trainings, to be honest with you, to try to break this stuff down. We might even get a whiteboard in here so we can actually start showing you specifically on exactly what you need to do. But keep it simple for now. If you're trying to get into one of these projects, don't overwhelm yourself. I was able to do it. I know you can do it too. So looking forward to our next video. Make sure you subscribe. This is the new Overcomer trainings that we're going to be doing. So make sure you tune in. It's going to be every week.